Good morning. I hope everyone's week is off to a better start than the last few. I know for us in California, the sun is shining and it's really warm and beautiful out, so that helps my mood personally. I wanted to do a quick video on the changes that are coming this week with the new stimulus additional bill, as well as the self-employed unemployment. But a lot of us woke up to a surprise in our bank accounts today. I just randomly checked my account and there was an extra $1,000 in it. And every person that applied for the EID loan at the same time as me, most of them also got that deposit today. So I wanted to touch base on that really quick. To recap, back in March, we immediately all applied for the first SBA loan that was available, which was the EID loan. It's the disaster loan that's always available whenever there's a fire, a flood. They had them during the recession. The government promised that it came with a $10,000 immediate deposit that would be a grant that didn't have to be repaid while they processed applications. None of us saw anything, heard anything, got anything. And then weeks later, we were told, oops, too many people applied. We can't give everyone $10,000. We're going to try to give everyone $1,000 per employee. And then most of us still never heard or saw anything. And then today, all of a sudden, $1,000 is just sitting in our bank accounts. And it took a little bit of figuring out that that's what it was from. To give you a timeline of that, in case you also applied for that and haven't heard anything, I applied March 31st. And then the government did check my credit score on the 18th, which was Saturday. And then the deposit came today. So 3 days after my credit check, I had a deposit. One of my other friends had their credit check yesterday and their deposit was also today. So a good way to know, I think, if this is maybe progressing for you is to keep an eye. I have a credit monitoring service. That's the only reason I knew. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have realized they checked, because I've never gotten an email or anything at all from the SBA or the government letting me know they've even processed my application. So, I mean, we were all thinking that we would get $10,000 for that grant. If you only got $1,000, it stings a little, but it's also something we all gave up on weeks ago. So it was kind of like a nice little surprise this morning. I know a handful of people that's really, really helping, because they have things like their salon booth rent due, property taxes due, things like that. So that's actually really helpful. So that was the little side note that a lot of us woke up to this morning. Quickly to recap that too, supposedly that immediate deposit, the reason it didn't come with any paperwork or anything like that is it's just a grant that you can spend. It's forgiven. It's a grant that's attached to the loan you applied for. So I'm assuming we're going to hear more about this sooner rather than later. We will either be denied for the rest of the loan since they ran out of money, or maybe we've gotten approved for some amount. None of us have heard yet. So I'm going to be checking my email and looking out for that. I would assume there's more paperwork. We'll see. Like this entire process, none of us really have any direction or what's going on. But it is a good news for some of us. So moving on, like I was saying, the stimulus that was originally passed, the $2 trillion stimulus that was supposed to provide these small business loans, much of which would be forgiven, as well as the $1,200 stimulus checks, which most of the self-employed people I know never got that. What happened is 30 million small businesses in America are out of work right now. And only 1.6 million of them received any funding from that original stimulus. They just flat out ran out of money really fast. It was like a week period of time. The sole proprietors and independent contractors didn't even get to apply for it. They let the larger companies apply first. They didn't even allow applications from us for a week. And then once they opened them 2 days later, they shut it down and said they were out of funding. Now, I know a lot of us have been irritated as we read articles of major corporations that got $30 million of that stimulus money when the cap was supposed to be $10 million. The cap on employees was supposed to be 500 or fewer employees. There's definitely a lot of tricks that were happening. People were using like umbrella companies to apply for multiple amounts. Anyway, it just comes down to the small businesses, the sole proprietors didn't get anything, not a single dollar. A lot of us applied for unemployment because we were told we could, and it turned out we did it too soon, so we all got denied. So even though we knew that would happen, it still felt like another stab at us. So moving forward, we do have more options now. I know we're all sick of even listening to my videos. Probably we're sick of doing paperwork. We've lost faith in all of this, but I personally believe you have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I have been so exhausted and so stressed and depressed and upset and everything else, but I've kept putting one foot in front of the other, and things have been happening in a positive way. So I really encourage you. This is building character for us, and I don't know, experiences for the future. And it doesn't hurt to try. So there's supposed to be a new stimulus bill passing today around 4 p.m. And this one is a $450 billion addition to the last one. 2 trillion wasn't enough, so I don't know how 450 billion will be enough, but 75 billion of that is going to hospitals for testing and things like that, and the rest is supposed to be going to small businesses. So they are saying that a big chunk of it is earmarked for impoverished areas and minorities. I'm finding being a woman makes you a minority, but otherwise, I don't know what that means for a lot of my friends' businesses, but still try. My hope and thought is if you already applied for this and you didn't get it because you ran out of funds, hopefully you're in the first of the line to be considered for the next round of funds. But if you didn't apply because they ran out of money before your application was finished, do it. I have previous videos that explain a little better on the paperwork that you need for that. You need your taxes, you need your profit loss statements, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like applying for a regular loan. They don't take your credit so much into consideration, and you don't need collateral. It's government backed. But so I would start working on that paperwork right now today. If that passes at 4 p.m. today, that means by the end of the week, they'll probably start accepting applications again. And that's for the SBA's PPP loan. And I don't know if that money will get filtered to the EID or not for those that already applied, but just keep working towards it. And then so setting aside the loans, because I feel like they're going to obviously run out of money before all 30 million businesses are helped. For California, at least, our self-employed and independent contractor unemployment system is supposed to be online and ready to go next Tuesday. So that's a week from today, April 28th. So apparently it's going to be all online. You verify your identity online and enter all the info they need, and it's going to be a direct deposit system within 24 to 48 hours. So on April 28th, when that system goes live, I expect issues because of the millions of people in California that are waiting for that to open. But it is supposed to be retroactive. So at that point, it will have been 8 weeks almost for a lot of us that have been out of work. And supposedly you'll start receiving payments within 24 to 48 hours directly to your bank, and they will retroact them. I've seen a lot of different dates on when that will be retroactive too, but it looks like about the middle of March. So if you've done the wise thing and you've called all your bills and you've deferred all your bills and they're stacking up, you've got a lot to pay, it looks like we'll start getting at least enough for most people's mortgages or, main business bills that they need to pay. Hopefully the very beginning of May, which I know sounds just like ridiculous at this point, that's what we're hopeful for, that will only be 2 months without receiving an income. But as the states look at starting to open back up, California is obviously going to be one of the last ones. So we need to keep working, keep putting one foot in front of the other and taking steps towards to just keep things afloat and do what we can. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I wanted to make this real quick because my phone this morning is ringing off the hook and I haven't been able to keep up with all the calls and messages. I'm totally still figuring this out as I go along as well, just reading everything I can and watching all the webinars still. And I've had some counseling sessions with SBA counselors and things like that. So I don't know all the answers, but I'm pretty good at finding them. If you have a question I don't know the answer to. As a recap, if you got that $1,000 deposit today, if you applied for the EID loan and didn't get anything, check your account over the next couple days. A lot of us did get that $1,000 out of nowhere today. Expect that either the rest of the loan process will be denied because they had run out of funding, or maybe you'll still get a loan offer attached to that, which is mostly also supposed to be forgiven. Let me know if you do hear anything further. There's a couple people that are just right neck and neck with me as far as the dates we applied for this, which was the end of March. And then just start working on your paperwork for the PPP loan if that's something you want to take advantage of. Or mark your calendar for April 28th and jump on and apply for unemployment and see how that goes. I can't wait to hear from some of you on how it's been going. At this point, we're almost 2 months out without an income, so I've been really enjoying the posts and messages I've got from people on what they're doing to bring income in during this time. There's been some really creative things that have blown me away, and I might just do a separate post about that entirely. If you're a small business owner or sole proprietor, independent contractor, and you're feeling totally alone because you're going on social media and just seeing tons and tons and tons of people bashing you for wanting to work or caring about money or wanting the country to open back up, I encourage you to go over to my Facebook page. I did a post on Thursday about what we're going through as small business owners, and it's had over 1,300 shares, and there are literally hundreds of comments from other small business owners telling their story of what they're going through. And while it's like heartbreaking to read, it also does help give you a sense of camaraderie. Like, okay, there are a ton of people. There are 30 million people going through this right now, not just me. So all the emotions you're feeling, the frustrations you're feeling, there are tons of other people going through it too. I still am reading all the comments because there's so many, and it's been very helpful to me to know that we're not the only ones going through this. It's easy to get caught up on a local level, and it's easy to let people shame you into thinking you're bad for putting your business first, money first. But how are you supposed to, stay healthy without an income? It's, in my opinion, it's mostly people that are still receiving an income that are being judgmental that way. So I've just been blocking, unfollowing, and focusing on the other people who are also focused on solutions, which is what we are focused on. That is my focus in life right now, is solutions. So there's a couple new solutions here we're going to keep working towards, and please reach out to me if you need anything. I've really enjoyed having some good conversations with other business owners on what they're going through and how they are working towards the future. I hope everyone has a great day. I'm going to get some gardening done and try to forget the stress. That's kind of my happy place, and I will be talking to everyone very soon.